So Linux is a free, easy to use operating system that can run on anything. I've used Ubuntu myself for around 3 years now, so let's talk about that, starting with installation. I'm going to dual boot it so I don't lose everything. First of all, you tell Windows to lay off a bit of space on your drive for something else. Then you plug in your bootable USB and tell Ubuntu where to find the memory. You then tell it how much space to allocate to boot, home, and swap, and if you don't know what those things are, that's okay because I don't either. A magic internet man told me the values to plug in. On the plus side, newer versions do all of that for you, including automatically finding the free space. It doesn't tell you this though, so as you watch that install bar fill out, you have no clue if it's writing over your homework folder or not. It then finishes by saying deleting. I cannot stress enough how bad a design decision that was. But now you are in. You can access all sorts of software easily from the software center, allowing you to—
I was told, it's super simple, you just install it. No, you do not.
What makes Linux unique are the package managers, a feature Windows doesn't have except for the ones it does. You can use the inbuilt package manager on the command line to install any software you want, and do a bunch of other things as well, such as uninstall your operating system.
And maybe it will install and launch now. What is the point of having a...
A great example of this is GIMP, a photo editor that does everything Paint.net does on Windows except optimized for Linux users, and by that I mean you must spend 3 hours trying to figure out what everything does. So Linux is a free operating system that runs on anything. Although once you're in, you may find that certain pieces of your computer aren't working as intended. The first time I tried using Linux, my Wi-Fi card wasn't picked up at all because lol lamau ha 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 Linux doesn't have the drivers for it. This means I would have to find and make them myself, which paradoxically will require Wi-Fi to achieve. Ironically, the only friend who could help me was an Arch user, doubtless because he has had to deal with this bullshit several times already. After plugging in my phone to let my computer use its Wi-Fi connection, I could look for a solution. I could find some random Romanian GitHub account, download the code, install make, install clang, compile them myself, and then finally I had Wi-Fi. Linux enthusiasts will tell you that this is wonderful, as I can read through the code myself to validate that it isn't a virus. But I really don't want to be teaching myself the basics of Wi-Fi drivers from an ancient Samsung's Wi-Fi. I just want to get back to—
Hey baby!
To be fair, Windows once messed up Wi-Fi for me too, but then I could just click a button and it went to work fixing that.
Oh yes, a problem. I see. Let us just sort that out for you, and it's fixed. Have a very good day, sir.
So Linux is a free operating system. The biggest problem I have actually comes from my computer overheating. Partially, this is a problem from the graphics card, as Linux just doesn't play well with Nvidia, but this problem will only affect a very small number of people. And the answer is to obviously just buy yourself an AMD graphics card, an easy feat nowadays. So Linux is an operating system. Some rapid fire gripes. Sometimes when I log in, the Wi-Fi just doesn't work, so I have to shut down or restart. Sometimes when I try to shut down or restart, it actually just boots me to the login screen, but with the keyboard disabled and accessibility mode on. This is fine, because I can just use my mouse to publicly and openly type in my password to log in, where I can restart for real. Once, it started logging into Lubuntu rather than Ubuntu, despite never having installed it. It ended up back in Ubuntu anyway, so let's pretend that that never happened. HTOP once reported Chromium was using 126% of my CPU. I do not have Chromium or Chrome on my system, and numbers do not work like that. The computer will sometimes hit 90 degrees Celsius, slowing everything down. I have tried numerous tools to fix this, and while CPU utils Autotune does fix this, it may also stop the mouse from working. I then have to use the keyboard controls to restart the computer, where it will boot me to the login screen, but with the keyboard disabled and accessibility mode on. This is fine, because I can just use my mouse to—
Fuck.
So Linux is a system.